guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do an update, or actually, I believe it's a final update, or part 5 to a very popular story that I covered a year ago, which is titled, Man Calls Off Engagement to Fiancée After Ugly Details of Her Past Comes Out and She Loses It. And guys, this is actually a 1 year later update. Many of you guys saw that story last year. It was very, very popular. And if you didn't see it, I definitely recommend you watch, and I'll post the links in the description. As a recap, because it's been a year, this is about the guy who was with his girl for like 4 years. They're engaged, all said to be married, thought she was a good one. I don't think he didn't see any red flags. And then lo and behold, one day, he finds out that her very good guy friend, who he hangs out with, does like double dates with, was her ex, that they had a past. And as you can imagine, all that time, she was lying to him. He was hanging out with this guy, but really he was one boning her in the past. And he ends it with her. And as you can imagine, it creates all this drama and turmoil from her, from, I believe, his mother, her family, all that. And the guy that was with her, also, the girlfriend of his, they used to do double dates with, broke up with him, a girl named Bella. Well, then eventually, through many updates, this guy finds out that not only were those two hooking up in the past, but also she wanted to marry him, but he didn't want to. He was a bad boy. So she broke up with him and chose our guy here, the nice guy. And then he also found out eventually that not only were they hooking up in the past, that they're still hooking up. That all this time he's with her, they're still hooking up. And he's hanging out with this dude like they're bros and finds this out, etc., etc. And as you can imagine, he's done with her. And I recall, because it's been a year, that his mother was trying to get them back together, so he sought out advice from his dad. And his dad is definitely an alpha, an old school alpha, who literally smacked him upside the head. They called him Papa Smack, knocking some sense into him, telling him about the truth about his mother, her, all that. And it ended with him providing proof that this girl was cheating on him all along, made her look like a total fool in front of her family. And this guy and the girlfriend of the guy that was nailing his girl, named Bella, they're getting together because both of them have been screwed over by people that they cared about, and they became close. And this is now an update 1 year later. It was quite the story here. And so he's letting us know how things have been going with his ex, with the girl, all that stuff. Definitely entertaining. So it continues on. It says here, hello SSM. It's been a while. I sent my first story in about a year ago, and you and your community's advice really helped me to get my life back on track. So I figured a one year update was in order. Bro, I certainly did not forget your story. Little details, because it's been a year and I do a lot of stories, but I didn't forget your story. And I'm glad you sent an update. Honestly, I didn't think about sending in another update until a few weeks ago when a couple of things happened that brought it back to my mind. I'm not even sure if anyone remembers or cares about the aftermath of my story, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. Bro, believe me, a lot of people watch I believe there were 4 stories, 4 videos. I think the first one had over 100,000 views. The other one's in the 70s, so believe me, people remember your story. Even if you don't think your community would like to hear it, I want to thank you and your community for all the advice, especially the poster that suggested that Belle and I hook up. Best decision ever. Yeah, this guy's nailing. He eventually started nailing the girl of the guy that was nailing his fiancée. Poetic. But from all accounts, when he told me about this girl that he was hooking up with, she was very cool. She was hurt just like him. They had certainly something to bond with. They were taking their time, having a good time together, all that. And she likes my channel. So any chick that likes my channel is okay in my book. I had to go back through the stories to get the code names right. So I am OP Scott. Rachel is my ex-fiancée. Eric is her previous boyfriend and Belle's ex. And Belle is my current girlfriend. Of course, my dad, that was affectionately named Papa Smack, is my dad. There are more players, but I didn't give them names, but they are all important. I guess the most important place to start is with Belle and me. We are still together and everything is going great. We are still taking our time and enjoying each day as it comes to us, but I can honestly say that I've never felt so loved or complete. Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that, bro. You both have been through so much shit and betrayed and hurt, so you both know what it's like to go through that, and you take your time, and that's awesome. But take your time. Belle tells me she feels the same, but it's not her words that make me believe her, it's her behaviors. Yes, actions say everything, gentlemen. The last year of my life has been, for lack of a better word, incredible. Well, you certainly earned that, my man. I had to go back and listen to your videos of my story, and looking back, it's difficult to see that what my life was like at the time. I'm not even certain that I can articulate just how distant that part of my life feels from my present situation. Sometimes it's like remembering an old movie that you've seen, but you're not attached to. Crazy, I know. That's because you've been able to move on. Because you got good support from your dad and friends, and you got a good thing going with this girl, Belle, and I'm happy for you, and you're able to move on. A lot of guys don't. I don't have a lot of dramatics in the aftermath, but there are a few things that came up that might be nice end to the saga that was that part of my life. Even if it's hard to even associate that part of my life right now. I guess the last part of my story was about Belle and I discovering how much we had both been deceived by the people we thought we loved, and we turned the tables and took control of our own lives back. When we first got together, Belle and I were healing from the shock, even trauma, of 2 long-term relationships, and it was the support from each other that helped each other get past that part of our lives. From the very first day, we were more than friends. We agreed that we were only going to take things one day at a time, and if it didn't work out between us, we could still be friends. Good. Exactly. I can't remember everything I said, but I'm sure I agreed to that. Take it slow. One day at a time. There's no freaking rush, you know? And I also said good job for nailing her. Here we are a year later, and we are stronger than ever. After spending the last year with Belle, one thing became crystal clear to me. The things that I was attracted to Rachel were superficial at best. Belle has been the best partner I've ever had and doesn't even come close. And it doesn't even come close. The more time I spent with her, the more I realized that the things in the relationship that really mattered were never demonstrated by Rachel. You know, I recall in the first video you said that you weren't really keen on getting married. You know, your parents were divorced, and we all remember what caused that. It wasn't your dad, it was your mom. And but you met Rachel, things seemed good, so you're like, all right, why not? In a lot of ways, I was holding on to some fantasy that I had in my own head. Now that I have something real to compare it to, I can see that it was my mistake for putting value in parts of our relationship that didn't really matter. After a year being with Belle and comparing it to the 4 years I spent with Rachel, there is no comparison. Good, you got yourself a decent gal with some values. And I do think the fact that you both were in the same boat, being betrayed and hurt and all that, that definitely takes things to a different level. Now, be careful, my man. Belle seems cool from what I recall in the stories, the previous videos, and what you're saying here, and I'm glad. But just take your time. No putting the gal on the pedestal. We all know what happens then. You know? Be the leader. Take charge. Be the man. You get my point. Belle's being bitchy. Smack her little ass and call her on her crap. You get the point. After you're being with Belle, comparing it to 4 years, blah, 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 only now, with a lot of hindsight and something to compare it to, can I see just how toxic our relationship was, even before I found out that she'd been putting her ex-boyfriend in my face. Yeah, she was literally rubbing him in his face. Bitch was evil. Looking back, it makes me feel like a complete idiot for not seeing it before. Dude, the past is the past. Learn from it, but don't dwell on it. The signs were there. Her behavior was completely one-sided, but I ignored all of it because I thought she loved me. It's a mistake I'll never make again. Actions always speak louder than words. Yes, exactly, but be careful in your current relationship that you don't make the same mistake. I know you feel like you have a good thing going, but I'm just trying to protect you, dude. So on to the update from what was arguably the darkest time in my life, but even after the worst storms, the sun eventually comes up. Time, distance, a lot of self-reflection have brought me to a place in my life that is better than I deserve and certainly better than I expected. No, bro, you deserve unlimited happiness. All guys deserve unlimited happiness. Everybody should be happy. Fuck it. Men and women. Problem is, well, we all know one group has a very hard time ever being happy. It was a few weeks ago when 2 things coincided that gave me the idea to send an update and thank you. The first was at this point has been fairly normal, was when Belle and I were at my dad's place, Papa Smack, having a cookout, and he was proudly wearing his Smack t-shirt. That's awesome. And that got us talking about everything that happened before. It was kind of strange thinking back to that time in my life, but where I was angry and hurt before is now just a campfire story to get a few laughs. Time really does heal all wounds. I no longer hate Rachel and Eric, hate Rachel, and Eric has been MIA for the last few weeks after my last update. I'll start with Eric. Time does heal a lot of wounds. I wouldn't say all wounds, but a lot of wounds. Eric is the dude that was nailing his fiancée. I guess he didn't get the message that Belle's older brother Samuel gave him about leaving her alone and tried for a few more weeks to get her to talk to him. I can neither confirm nor deny that Samuel gave him a message that got him through to him, and from what I heard, he ended up with a couple of fractured ribs and a broken nose. But that's all speculation. In any case, none of us ever saw him again. Good. He got what he deserved. In fact, it could have been way worse. Maybe Belle kicked his ass. You never know. Your girl could be a little ninja for all you know. The second thing that happened and that made me want to send you an update was about 2 weeks ago when I got an unexpected visitor. Oh gee, who could that be? It was on a Sunday afternoon, and Belle and I were hanging out when someone knocked on my door. I wasn't expecting anyone and was startled to see Rachel staying there when I opened the door. Oh boy, what could she possibly want? It was the first time I had seen her face to face since the day she ran out of my apartment when I showed our mothers and the pictures that Belle had sent me proving that she was cheating on me. I didn't know how I was going to feel if I ever saw her again, but when I saw her, I knew I wasn't angry anymore. Well, that's huge, man. That's great. You're indifferent. You're like, hello, how's your life, asshole? Mostly, I was curious about why she was there and asked her. She started off by saying how sorry she was for coming over unannounced and asked if I could give her a few minutes of my time. She's got some nerve. I asked her what this was about, and she said she would understand if I hated her, but that she wanted a chance to apologize properly. Is this a 12-step program for her? I had no idea how Belle was going to react to this, but I figured, what the hell, let her in. I wouldn't let her in. I would let her say her piece outside. As soon as she saw Belle sitting on the couch, she surprised me. She said to Belle, "Good, you're here too," and apologized to her for interrupting our day. She asked me if she could sit down, and I nodded before taking a seat beside Belle. I had no idea what she was up to, and Belle was just watching her with her arms crossed. I bet Belle was sitting there with her arms crossed. Women are very... the body language. Girls are pissed. Just like that. I would entrust, given what happened in the previous stories, and again, if you guys haven't seen the other videos, click below. I'll post the links. You can watch them. I wouldn't trust this broad any further I can throw her. Rachel started by telling both of us how sorry she was for all the chaos she brought into our lives, and she told us about how much her life fell apart. Ah, boo-hoo. It was at her lowest point that her parents made her get into counseling. She has a 12-step program. I'm waiting to hear it. She admitted that she was thinking about offing herself at that point and was put under observation for about a month and then started to do individual counseling to work her issues out. It was after nearly 10 months of counseling that she finally understood how terrible and selfish she had been to everyone. It took her 10 months to figure out how selfish she was to everyone. Really? You gotta be shitting me. Anybody with a little bit of integrity, bit of a soul, you know they're doing some serious wrong what she did to you. And Belle, for God's sakes. She hasn't changed. Come on here. It was her counselor that suggested that she meet with everyone that was impacted by her behavior to apologize so she could close that chapter of her life and continue healing. It took her a while to tell her story, and as good as an actor as she was, it was the first time I believed she was being sincere. I could say she's being sincere to help her move on, not necessarily because she feels deep sorrow for what she did to you. But I'm an extremely pessimistic individual. I've been around the block, and I just know by and large most people do not change, especially ones who do such awful shit. But maybe I'm wrong. Mostly because when she finished, she didn't ask for forgiveness or anything else. She told me it was the biggest mistake of her life and how sorry she was that her selfishness caused Belle and I pain. Before telling us how happy she was that we found each other and we were making each other happy. Maybe it was all an act, but the woman sitting in front of us was a person I'd never seen before. I hope that for your sake, that it wasn't an act. But I just can't buy, given how she was to you and all that bullshit based on what she did and all the lies afterwards, that it isn't an act. No matter what, this whole song and dance is for her self-interest. Mark my words, that's the case. When she finished, she got up and thanked us for giving her a chance to apologize and promised that we would never find her on my doorstep again, and wished us well. Then she left. No drama, other than the tears she was shedding while she was apologizing. Of course there were tears. Belle and I sat there for a few minutes trying to process what happened, and we both accepted that she meant what she said. Now that chapter in our lives is truly closed. In the beginning, I loved Rachel with everything I had. Then I hated her guts with every fiber of my being. Now I don't love or hate her. The scales are even, as bad as she was to me. I hope she's able to get herself together and find some kind of happiness someday. Well, you know what? I hope she gets some shit together, and that way she doesn't go ruin somebody else. That's what I really hope for. Because unfortunately, otherwise there's going to be just another poor bastard out there that's going to be impacted by her evil ways. But I really hope maybe some miracle, who knows, figure some shit out. But I'm not buying it. I don't, but you have moved on. You are happy. You're indifferent to her, and that's the great part. That's the main part of this whole thing. As for Belle and I, we are fantastic. I've known her for more than 4 years, 3 as close friends, 1 as a couple. In that time, she's never demonstrated any behaviors that give me pause. It was about a week ago, after Rachel came over, that we sat down and talked about our future. I knew that'd be coming up pretty soon. I believe you're in your early 30s. We both want to start a family, but it was Belle that said if we were going to do that, we're both going to get prenups, of course, with strict infidelity clauses, and agreed that no matter what the reason, if we split up, it would be an even distribution of joint assets, but we would both maintain separate finances. Okay. If you guys are going to go in that direction, take your time and all that, and it's good you're communicating about this and on the same page. Separate your finances. Remember I said that before. You have your accounts where your money or profits from your businesses go to. Your investment accounts, checking accounts. She has hers. You might have a joint to pay the mutual expenses if you get together. And obviously the prenups. Both you have your prenups and different agreements, infidelity clauses. Okay. She also brought up something I didn't even think about. One of the clauses that was that our retirement funds were off limits for joint distribution. Good, I agree. It was a good talk, and we were both open and honest with our concerns. Since we started dating, neither of us did the girls' or guys' nights out without the other, and we agreed that neither of us would spend time socially with friends of the opposite sex. Good, exactly. You all know what happens when that shit happens. We were already doing all that, but we put it on the table as a condition of a more serious relationship. Thanks to the stories you share, we were able to identify a lot of the areas in in a relationship where people have had the most problems and have acted on them. You listen enough of these stories, you can really pinpoint where everything goes wrong. I don't need to list them all, but you all know what I mean. After our talk, we decided that we would each talk to our families individually and get their perspectives. I didn't bother talking to my mom. She's still kind of the doghouse of me when it comes to relationships, but I did spend a few hours talking to my dad. Yeah, I wouldn't involve your mother ever about relationships. I'd talk to your old man. Since everything went down last year, I've been spending a lot more time with my dad, and we've grown a lot closer. Awesome. When I told him what Belle and I were thinking, I thought he was going to slap me again, but he started laughing and gave me a hug. He told me he's been watching her and how she treats me for a year, and he believes that she's one of the good ones. But even if she isn't, the legal protections we were talking about made it a good risk. I told him what happened with Rachel, and he was suspicious of her motives, but said that he believes she might have been sincere. Well, I agree with your old man about being suspicious of her motives. My biggest concern about getting married and starting a family is partly my own experience with Rachel and all the horrible stories you hear on the internet, and I asked him how I could be certain. Well, unfortunately, there is no guarantees in life in anything. Really. You can have the coolest girl in the world, traditional values, all the good qualities. Because there are good ones out there, it's just they're hard to find. And you can both agree to everything. There still is no 100% guarantee that's going to work out, or you'll grow apart or have differences. And even if there's no cheating involved, just grow apart, have irreconcilable differences. You get the point. There are no guarantees. He says, and then he gave me a list of his wisdom and a little wisdom, and thankfully it didn't come with a knock to the head. He told me if you wanted certainty, buy a dog, because that's the only unconditional love you'll ever get. Pretty much. Hell, yeah. I'm a cat person, and all you cat brothers out there know darn well our cats can love us to death, but if we stop feeding them, those cats are going to leave or eat us in our sleep. But my cats are as loyal, unconditional love as you can get, but I sure as hell better feed them or I'm in deep shit. But a dog, even if you're not feeding the dog, that dog will stay loyal and love you unconditionally forever. So dogs do have that one in the cats. Life isn't risk-free, and there cannot be real love without the risk of betrayal. I asked him if he believed Belle was worth the risk. He's laughing. He says, laughing my ass off, and he slapped me in the back of the head before hugging me. Your dad is old school. Your dad sounds like he'd be me if I was a dad, because I'd be smacking my son upside the head when he'd say something stupid. And when I say smacking, I'm not talking like a beating. Just shh. He said they thought that she was one in a million, and I should trust her completely until she gave me reason not to. If that happens, drop her like a hot rock. But you can't live your life based on what-ifs. Yes. When Belle told me how her parents reacted, she said her dad said, it's about damn time, and that he was starting to wonder if I was slow or stupid. Her dad and I spent a lot of time together, and both of our dads have gone fishing quite a few times. Oh shit. Our dads get along great. I guess her brother isn't really into fishing, but he's a good guy and seems to like me. She said her mom couldn't stop smiling and said she thought I was a good man, but if I turned out to be like Eric, she would bury me under the rose bushes. She's feisty, but a lot of fun to talk to, and I believe her about the rose bushes. So, as of May 1st, Belle and I are engaged and have agreed to a 2-year engagement. Well, what? 1 year with her officially, that's pushing it, my man. However, you have known her pretty damn well for 3 years, but I would have waited longer for that engagement, my man. But good, you're taking your time 2 more years. Good. I get that, and I do from what you describe and the way everybody else says that she is certainly one of the good ones. I haven't met her, so I don't know. But from what you described and everything like that, but still, you got to be careful. That's all I'm going to say. 2 years, maybe you do 3. There's no fucking rush, You live together, see what she's like and all that. Have a good time. But you got to keep being the best version of yourself. Being the leader, taking charge. If she's being bitchy or difficult, which any girl can be, you don't take it. But you're good and loyal to her as long as she's the same way. And you sound like she comes from a good family and they like you and all that. And, the works. But I truly hope it works out well. I would have taken more time. Not that I'd be wanting to do that, but you get my point. When I asked about her engagement ring, she said all she wanted was a gold band, and she thought that people that spent thousands of dollars in engagement rings were stupid. I agree. Why spend thousands of dollars on a stupid-ass ring when that money could be used for a down payment on the house, or a car, or paying off a little student loan debt, whatever, as opposed to just some fucking thing shining? No, it's stupid. Good for her. That is it. From the darkest time of my life to the best, we're going to continue to grow as a couple, and we'll see where life takes us, while we live and love one day at a time. SSM, thank you for all the wisdom, advice, well wishes, and comedy from you and your community. Without your channel, I wouldn't be here right now. If everything works out in the next couple of years, I'll send an update after a wedding, and if it doesn't, I'll still send an update to you to tell you what went wrong. Have a great year, and Belle sends her best wishes. Goodbye for now. Well, bro, I am so happy that things are going well for you and you're happy. I mean, holy shit. After 1 year ago, after all the bullshit you went through, you deserve to be happy. But like I said, a lot of guys are going to hear that and be screaming out loud, 1 year, you're out of your fucking mind. It is what it is. You're already engaged, so just follow my advice and learn everything you've learned from the channel and all these stories and go from there. And if there's anything, and I do mean anything, that makes you have second thoughts, listen to your gut, okay? Like I said, for what you describe and the family, it sounds like Belle's a cool one, but human beings are human beings. Things can go hell in a handbasket. Even the best situation, things can arise. You just never know. But you take your time, get to know more about her. Make sure you're on the same page with life goals. Do you want kids? If you want to have kids, how many kids? Where do you want to live? What kind of school? What about religion? All that. How are both you on money? Is she more of a saver or a spender? Are you more of a saver or a spender? You get the point. These are all things that need to be really observed over the years. And it isn't just what she says, it's also about what she does. But you'll learn, and I hope it goes well. So definitely down the road, send me an update. Either you break up amicably, or you're throwing dishes at each other, or things are great and you get married, and I wish the best. But use everything you've learned from the channel and all the stories you heard to help you in that direction. I think I want to hear somebody makes this shit work. I'd like to have, something work out. Like, people have been through some hardships, and then they move on and take all the things you've learned, and now they're happy and doing well. But remember, relationships take work. I can tell you that enough that I've learned over my life. And just because things are good today, doesn't mean they're going to be good next week. And we'll just see where things go. So anyway, I'm glad things are great. I'm glad to hear from you. And I'm glad your ex was going through a lot of shit. She deserved it. I'm still not completely buying her sincerity, but hey, she's out of your life, so fuck her. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. Let this guy know what you think. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.